Good morning, gentlemen. Let me continue in this video with Act 4, Scene 1 from where we had stopped. In the previous video, Shylock mentioned all the reasons referring to and giving all examples that he thought it was necessary for him to give to the court, the Duke and the jury, to support his stance of the demand of that 1 pound of flesh, justifying his demand, in other words, substantiating his demand. Now let us continue from where we had stopped. As you follow the video, kindly have your books open at page 66. What did Bassanio say to Shylock? He was angry and frustrated with what Shylock had said, trying to justify his demand. So Bassanio said, "Gentlemen, that this is no answer, thou unfeeling man, to excuse the current of thy cruelty." So he said that what he had stated with those irrational examples of the cat, the rat and the bagpipe, with regards to people losing their temper, hating, losing their self-control, regarding those simple things, as there was no explanation to their strange behavior, there was no logical explanation to his desire as well of wanting that 1 pound of flesh. So Bassanio said that was no good reason to justify his course of cruelty, his demand of that 1 pound of flesh. It was, he said, no good reason or answer to prove his feelings right, his hateful feeling right, his cruel feeling right. It was not good enough reason to prove himself right and justify his path or course of cruelty. So, that is the meaning of current. Current means his outpouring. It was not good enough reason to justify, in simple terms, it was not good enough reason to justify, prove right the outpouring, the showing of his feeling of cruelty towards Antonio. And Shylock said in reply, "I am not bound to please thee with my answer." So he very sarcastically, taunting and teasing, indifferent, not paying any attention to what Bassanio was saying, tried to, just avoid him, said that he was not in any way obliged or obligated to please Bassanio with his answers there in court. And Bassanio says, "Do all men kill the thing they do not love?" He questioned to know from Shylock that would a man kill the thing which he hates? Would a man be so merciless enough to kill something which he hates? Would he not have the sensitivity? Would he not have the humanness to tolerate it? And did Shylock mean to say that a man must kill what a man hates? Would he not, as a human being, avoid it, tolerate it, and bear with it? Bear with it? Would he just simply kill something that he hates? Okay, that is what he meant to say. What did he mean to say? Questioning Shylock. Would a man kill the thing which he hates? Was there no other way to deal with it? Would it be the only path for a man to take to kill something one he hates? Then Shylock in reply to him said, hates any man the thing hates any man the thing he would not kill? Shylock counter-questioned Bassanio to justify what he was saying. And what did he mean to say? What did he mean to ask Bassanio? Was there any man who would not kill the thing that he truly hates? Would a man, according to Shylock, not kill something that he truly hates? Would a man not do so? Would a man keep tolerating something that he truly hates? And for how long? He wanted to know from Bassanio. Would a man not kill something that he genuinely and truly hates? Would he keep tolerating, and for how long? Then Bassanio says to him, every offense is not a hate at first, he said to Shylock, trying to reason with him. Every fault, every offense committed against a person must not be considered by the person as a cause of hate for the offender, or must not be considered as a cause of intense strong hate for the person who has committed the offense against him. So he says, every fault need not be turned at once at the very beginning, should not be considered at the very beginning of it as a reason or cause for hatred towards the offender. Instead, one must forgive the first offense to the offender. Do you understand, gentlemen? Every mistake which gives rise to the feeling of hatred or anger in a person must, at the first incident of it, at the beginning of it, must not be considered as a reason of hatred towards the person or the offender who has caused it against the person. So, Shylock then went on to say, he was taken aback as to what Bassanio was saying. Bassanio was saying that Shylock should not take Antonio's first failure of keeping the contract as a cause of hate for Antonio. He must forgive Antonio's first mistake. Pardon his first mistake. Then Shylock in surprise said, "What? Wouldst thou have a serpent sting thee twice?" So he said, would Bassanio be kind enough and forgiving enough to let the snake go unpunished at the first occasion when the snake would have bitten him first, for the first time? Would Bassanio be kind enough and forgiving enough to let the snake go when the snake had bitten him on the first occasion? Would he allow the snake to just leave without expressing his hate and anger towards the snake for having bitten him on the first occasion? And would he wait? Would he be kind enough? Would he be forgiving enough to wait for the snake to bite him second time, to take action against the snake and kill it? Would he not straight away react with hate and kill the snake when the snake bites him for the first time? Antonio, listening to Bassanio trying to reason with Shylock, intervened, addressing Bassanio, and said, "I pray you, think you question with the Jew," he said, trying to be detestable, trying to show his disgust, trying to look down upon Shylock, treat him as inferior, insult him and embarrass him, and feeling hopeless because he knew that Shylock was not willing to comply with, listen to, and give in to the requests and reasoning of Bassanio. He said he requested Bassanio, reminding him that he was trying to reason and argue with the Jew, calling him Jew, emphasizing that he was a hard-hearted, stone-hearted, unforgiving man, and that he would not relent, he would not listen. It was futile to argue with the Jew. It was useless to argue with such a person as Shylock the Jew. "You may as well go stand upon the beach and bid the main flood bait his usual height. You may as well use question with the wolf why he hath made the ewe bleat for the lamb. You may as well forbid the mountain pines to wag their high tops and to make no noise when they are threatened with the gusts of heaven. You may as well do anything most hard to seek to soften that, than which what's harder, his Jewish heart. Therefore I do beseech you, make no more offers. Use no further means, but with all brief and plain conveniency, let me have judgment and let the Jew his will." What did Antonio mean to say? He prayed to Bassanio not to argue, reason with the Jew, reminding him that it was useless to argue with the Jew because the Jew would not relent, 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 or give in or forgive or change his mind, deviate his mind. He said that it would prove to be as fruitless as a vain, V-A-I-N, vain. He said that it would prove for Bassanio as useless, as fruitless, and as in vain as if he were to go out to the beach and stand on the beach and ask the high tide waves to fall on their usual level. To fall on their usual level means lower their level from the usual height. Would the waves abide? Would the waves listen to him? No, the waves would certainly not pay any heed or change. Listening to Bassanio. So he went on to say, as it would prove fruitless, as it would prove in vain and useless, trying to change the course of nature, trying to change the natural ways of nature, it would prove futile, fruitless, and in vain, trying to change or argue with the Jew. He said, as it would prove futile, useless, and fruitless to go out to the beach and ask the waves, the high tide waves, to fall on their usual, to fall in height, in level, from their usual height or level, the waves would not comply with, the waves would not respond or listen to follow Bassanio. So was Shylock. He would not listen or give in to Bassanio's reasoning. Then he went on to say, you may as well use question with the wolf, why he hath made the ewe bleat for the lamb. He said, it would be as fruitless, as futile and in vain, as useless, as if he were to go out and try to reason, questioning the wolf, why he had killed the lamb and made the mother sheep weep, moan for its lamb. Would the bloodthirsty wolf pay any heed? Would it listen and change its wicked, fierce, hateful behavior of hunting lambs? It would not. Here, Antonio is comparing himself to be a meek, weak, innocent lamb, and he is comparing Shylock to be a wicked, bloodthirsty, violent wolf who by nature was wicked, bloodthirsty, and savage like a beast, violent like a wolf. But there is a falsity in this thought of Antonio. What is the falsity? Antonio was not innocent as the lamb, as the baby sheep. So, he says to Bassanio, as it would prove useless to Bassanio if he were to go out and reason with the wolf, question with the wolf why he had hunted killed, slaughtered the lamb, making the mother sheep you weep, mourn for her lamb. It was natural to be violent, to act in that bloodthirsty manner, to be a savage as the wolf was. So was it with Shylock. It was inherent, inborn. He was born with that quality. It was very natural, as it was natural to the wolf, to be savage, to be bloodthirsty, to be violent, and to be ferocious, to be slaughtering as the wolf. He said next, it would be as fruitless and as useless if he were to go out to the mountainside and ask the tall to summon, to order and urge the tall pine trees growing on the rolling hillsides to stop waving their high branches and to stop or prevent them to stop creating the eerie, the terrifying, frightening, howling sounds when the forceful, strong, powerful winds would blow, shaking them from above against the sky. Would these tall pine trees growing very close to each other, blown and shaken by the powerful, forceful wind, stop waving their high branches, swaying in the strong wind, and create this terrifying, eerie, fearful, fearsome, howling sounds in the forceful gusts of wind? Would they stop and pay any heed to Bassanio's urging to stop and prevent? They would not. So it was the same with Shylock. As it was natural for the trees to wave their branches in the strong wind and create the eerie, scary, frightful, howling sounds as the wind would blow through them from the skies above. So it was natural for Shylock to be uncompromising, to be unrelenting, to be unaccepting and unchanging as in nature or as the pine trees. So he said that he could try all those impossible things, meaning try to ask the waves to fall in their height, the high tide waves to fall in their height, and to reason with the wolf to stop slaughtering the lambs. He could urge the tall pine trees to stop waving in the strong wind and creating those frightful sounds. Those might prove to be easy than to try what was the hardest, that was to change, influence and affect Shylock's heart. There was nothing more harder than Shylock's heart, and it was impossible to change his heart, deviate his mind, and have him compromise on his stance. That is the meaning of you may well do anything most hard as to seek to soften that, than what's harder, his Jewish heart. Therefore I do beseech you, make no more offers. He went on to say that he was requesting Bassanio, he was pleading with him not to make any more offers to Shylock. Use no further means, meaning use no other ways to influence, help change his attitude of hate and his attitude of malice towards him. Instead, he requested him, he prayed to him to allow the judgment of the court be made quickly, hold the trial immediately, as quickly as possible, in the shortest possible way, without wasting any time. In brief, he be judged, the judgment be passed by the court and the duke, and the Jew be allowed to have his penalty. His will be granted to him. He had the judgment passed against him, and he, the Jew, have his will, means his will be fulfilled. So, he requested Bassanio not to delay the matter, instead allow the court to hold the trial. In brief, taking as less time as possible, and do it in plain conveniency without making it too long and complicated, as per Shylock's conveniency, as per Shylock's convenience, and as per his too, for he did not want to feel that feeling of nervousness and anxiety, that stress any longer, to do away with the court case, the judgment be passed against him as quickly as possible, and the Jew be granted his will. So gentlemen, in this video we will keep it till there. In the next video, I will continue with the remaining portion that we have already completed in the online classes. Thank you.